Thanks, Debbie. I'm Kim, and let me start off by saying that I certainly do not deserve the credit for the progress we've made. A lot of progress has been made before I even came into this position and this role, both by even prior to the merger with Frost & Jacobs and Brown, Todd & Hayburn as well. For those who don't know me personally, I started with the firm Frost & Jacobs actually as a litigator 10 years ago. In April of 2006, our executive committee appointed me as the firm's director of diversity, and at that time I wore two hats, one as a litigation partner in Cincinnati and also as our firm's director of diversity with 600 hours committed to our diversity initiatives and recognized as billable hours. Effective of November of last year, this has become my full-time gig. This is my job and what I do every day on a day-to-day basis, full-time. I am very proud to be part of a law firm that has made such a significant commitment. I'm jazzed to have this role, and I can say as I speak to law firms in our footprint, I am not aware of any other law firm in our 5 states and our regions that have made this significant of an investment. A lot of credit goes to our predecessors and our prior committees and work in this area. I can say that our new leadership had big shoes to fill because there was a strong commitment from the top. I've been extremely impressed, despite the economy, and our new leadership's commitment in this area and the challenge to take what has been done before them and continue to push forward in this area. I work a lot with our leadership, and I'm accountable to them for results. We do still have a diversity committee comprised of attorneys, staff, and professionals from all of our offices. I want you to understand that's not a committee that meets on a weekly or monthly basis. It's a committee that meets a couple of times a year and serves really as a board of directors to talk through initiatives and ideas and where we're headed. And it's my job to live that plan out on a day-to-day basis. And I'm accountable to them for results as well. Since we've last met in our last training session, I've done a lot of listening and a whole lot of learning. I've come to learn that there isn't a checklist of 10 items, 10 best practices that's going to accomplish our mission. And our mission, my job title, our goal, is to foster an inclusive environment where everyone can achieve their full potential and be a success. Moreover, I've learned that when I think I've found a solution, perhaps I've found a practice that helps us retain a ethnically diverse staff member or attorney, I can't take that idea or concept and apply it to the next person, maybe even in that same class, because every individual is different. We all have our own stories. This isn't easy. I've also learned that we're not going to achieve our mission of creating an inclusive environment by writing checks. We have to do this one person, one idea, one story, one community at a time. And that's what our program is about. That's what we believe in. That's what our leadership believes in and has for some time. And I want to just give you a couple of examples of what I mean by that so you can see how it works and understand what I'm talking about. One concept is our affinity groups. By listening to our clients, by listening to our leadership and our people, it makes sense that when you're one of 2, one of 30, one of 80, whatever, in a law firm our size, in many different offices in many different states, it can be helpful to come together maybe once a year for a dinner and be brought together by with those with which you have things in common with. I've been amazed to watch folks drive 4.5 hours one way for an hour-and-a-half dinner. Conversation is always extremely positive. I walk away with such valuable insight and ideas. Our clients are interested because many of our clients have had affinity groups for years. They want to hear how we're doing it, that we are doing it, how it's structured, how it's going, and to share those ideas and practices. And no, we're not talking about the McDonald's French fry fan club affinity group. We have to do what makes sense for us on the basis. See, he laughs. Frank laughs.
It's a good idea to do the affinity group for McDonald's fries.
Yeah, he's going to keep pushing for that. But it isn't just about us. It is about our clients too. It's about listening to our clients and learning how do they define diversity. Does it include women? Does it include individuals with disabilities? Does it include the LGBT community, the gay and lesbian, bisexual and transgenders? How do they define it? How are they measuring their success? And what are their obstacles? By listening and learning in these areas and having these conversations, we've learned that some of our very important clients have their direct compensation tied to achieving matrices and numbers on fitting those accomplishments and pushing that needle forward. But until we understand how they're measuring it, we can't service our clients in the best way that we can. It's also allowed us to offer other benefits for our clients, things like connecting them to the Business Diversity Network of Kentucky, where many of our clients spend time sharing best practices with one another. We're the only law firm member of that organization, and to be able to educate other institutional clients on these resources has been a valuable tool. Some of our clients we've been able to introduce to new pipeline programs. So a general counsel who comes forward and says he's concerned because his in-house legal department isn't as diverse as he'd like, and in order to help that problem, he wants to be connected to pipeline programs. A couple weeks ago, I was able to say, well, let me tell you about a new pipeline program that started 2 months ago, and let me invite you to participate in a program that we're going to host with 30 young, interested legal minds next week. So also, as we've talked to our clients, many of them are coming and asking us to speak on best practices. So folks who've won national awards on diversity are asking us about what we're doing and what we're learning. I'm amazed because I feel like I'm learning every step of the way. But that's been a wonderful experience. Another example of what I'm talking about, an idea that came 3 years ago when I recently came into this role, is a shared 1L program that we created in Cincinnati. This past summer was our third summer doing it. The idea is that a first-year law student spends 6 weeks with us and 6 weeks with a client. It exposes us to new law students that we may not have been able to meet with before. Helps our clients who've traditionally hired 1L students but maybe didn't hire them again until they were fourth-year attorneys out of school. This summer, the National Law Journal caught wind of this program, and we received national press. And a few weeks ago, I was talking with one of our 1L students who had just wrapped up his 6 weeks with us. And he was, and by the way, he just finished his first year at a law school institution that didn't think I was good enough. But anyway.
I think they're sorry now.
Yeah, they are sorry now, right? But he said he was talking to his buddy about the fall interview process that's coming up. And for those of you who aren't familiar, you have 10 minutes to talk with a variety of law firms. And he was sharing with his buddy what he was going to focus on in his 10 minutes. And he said, I'm going to focus on 2 things. Number 1, substantive work assignments, and number 2, a commitment to diversity. He said, my buddy said to me, you're wasting your 10 minutes on diversity. All firms give it lip service. They all say the same thing. So we proceeded to have a conversation and a debate because I disagreed. You can find out when the commitment is genuine. And I've found the right questions to ask, and I've seen it in play. So it is going to be part of my 10-minute conversation. So the other thing that was really intriguing to me, and mind you, he was here 6 weeks with us, working with folks in all offices. He said, I expected to walk in the door and look for partners and leaders who looked just like me. What I found was when you're in an inclusive environment, I could be who I was, and that wasn't necessary. I found great friends and companions and role models to work with who looked nothing like me. And that's what it's about, and that's where a kind of place where I want to be. So again, listening, having ideas, affecting the kind of talent that we're seeing, fostering discussions. I am proud that we were part of that law student's experience. I'm proud that he had an experience like that. I'm proud that he had that debate with his buddy. Those are the kinds of things that we're talking about, making a difference one person at a time. But fostering an inclusive environment is not just about lawyers, it's not just about clients. It runs a spectrum. And on any given day, I don't know what my day is going to bring. It may be spent with a white male trying to find out how to be successful at Frost Brown Todd while supporting his wife's blooming career and being a father to a newborn son. It means connecting with our staff, understanding that each of our offices have a little bit different of a culture, and making sure that everyone feels included and welcome here. That's part of my job, that's part of my day as well. I haven't figured everything out, like I said, but I do know we're not going to solve our problems by writing checks. And I could speak for a long time about successes that I feel like we've accomplished and initiatives that we're undertaking, and I welcome those discussions with any of you, and that's what my job is. But for now, I'm going to turn it back to Debbie.